Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to score on LacrosseShift using Player Stats Pro. Now in this example I'll be doing a field lacrosse game, but if you're box lacrosse or women's lacrosse, then they're very similar. So the first thing you'll be on is the roster tab, and you'll want to select the players that have showed up to play the game. So there's two ways you can do it. You can click off the check all box and it'll select all of the players. And it'll give you, for example, here's an error. So this is a duplicate player number, so we could just give this guy a different player number. Oops. You can do 3-digit player numbers too if you need to. So we'll change them to 68. And you can also change a player's number. Now by default it pulls in the number they're playing the game with, but if you want to change it to a different number to play that game with, you can. Or you can just check off, the other way to roster them is just individually check off the players that showed up. Now by default, it's the first goalie rostered automatically becomes the starting goalie, but you can change that if you have multiple goalies rostered. You can change the starting goalie at the very top here if you like. Now when I check off a player, you'll notice it's orange and then turns green. So anything that's orange is a pending save, and then once it goes green, then it's saved. So everything as you do scoring in the system will be automatically saved. Now if you need to add players, if your league allows it, then you'll see these buttons down here, add home player, add away player. You're only going to see these buttons if your league gives you the permission to add players. Otherwise you won't see them, in which case you can't. Now there's three kinds of players. There's an active player, which is a full-time player. There is a call player, or a spare, a part-time player. And there's a game spare, which doesn't actually create a real player, it's just for the purposes of scoring the game. So we'll create a full-time player. So we'll call this guy Josh Smith. And we'll give him a number of 96, and we'll say he is defense, and we'll say add. So let's find Josh. Now there he is, so it automatically rostered Josh for you, so he's ready to go. And now if you need to roster coaches, you can click the coaches link. Now I haven't added any coaches to these teams, but if there were coaches they would show up in this list, or if you see these buttons then you have permission to add them, and you can check them off, and if you check off coaches then you're able to assign penalties against coaches as well. You can sort the players, by default they're by name, or you can sort them by number if that helps when you're rostering them. So once you've got your roster ready, then you want to move on to scoring. So you can click on the score link up here, or you can click continue to score game. So I'll click that. So now we're on the score tab. Now the first thing to note about the score tab is this box up here where it says period and clock time. So this is the period and the running clock that will assist you in scoring. Now, the game is sitting in not started. This is the game status, this box here. And you can click start play when you're ready to start the game, and it will put it into in progress and start the clock running. Now, if you need to stop the clock, you can just click on the stop play button or start play button. Or you can use the space bar key on your keyboard, and it's kind of like a shortcut. So that'll also stop and start the clock. If you want to adjust the clock, you can click up and down, adjust it by seconds, or you can even just type in the box. And so you could change it that way too, and you can adjust the period similarly. So we'll start the play. And just like you can use spacebar to stop and start the clock, you can also use shortcuts to put in the main actions. So the main actions here are in gray, and then there's some secondary actions, blue, and then there's some secondary actions in the gray buttons here. So for instance, if we want to add a goal, then we could push home for H for home, and then G, and that will go into the goal, or we can just click on the goal button. Now if you notice this clock says 1432, and I click goal right at 1432 when this clock said that, so it pulled in 1432. Now you can adjust it if you need to by typing in the box. So we'll pick the score, and assist if there was one, maybe we'll leave it blank. And the strength of the goal, so whether it was full strength goal, whether it was man up or a man down goal. So we'll click save. And let's go to the next play. So the next one is penalty. So if you want to assign a penalty, so there's a few ways you can do it. You could click and you can pick the penalty like slashing here, or you can just type what you want to put in, and it will start to autocomplete, and it'll say, did you want this one? Yes. Now we'll choose the player that's being penalized. So 34. There's an against player, the player that drew it if you want, and if it's been served by someone else. Now there's a power play opportunity. That means if this penalty creates a man up situation for the opposite team, then you would leave this checked off. So we'll click save. A shot. So if there's a player shot, you can pick the shooter, and then you can choose the results. If you choose blocked, then you can choose the blocker if you want. It's an optional thing to do. Now, if the shot results in a ground ball, you can. If it doesn't, you can just click save. If it does, you can click save plus ground ball, and that'll move you right into the ground ball screen. In which case, it's just easier instead of clicking, say, shot and then adding it and then having to click ground ball. So it's just a faster way of doing it. So there's a face-off. You can put in the team, the home, the away player, and then you can watch the face-off, and then you can see who the winner was and select the winner after. And likewise, you can do save and save plus ground ball. If there's a turnover, similar kind of idea. The person that gave up the ball, the person that caused the team, and then the taker. So we'll save that. Ground balls, you can put ground balls in. So we'll say it's a home retrieved ground ball by number 30. A clear, you can put clears in. So you notice these tabs at the bottom, these are all the plays. Now the most recent play comes in at the top here, so a ground ball by, retrieved by number 30 was the most recent event. So if you want to edit that, any of these plays, you can click or delete them. You can use the delete link, but let's just say we edit this. Maybe it wasn't 30, it was 34 that retrieved it. So we'll change it. You notice it was orange, it was pending that save, and then it turned green as soon as it saved it. If you want to change a goalie, you can click on the goalie, and you can then change the goalie to a different goalie. Now, for instance, in box lacrosse, if you want to pull a goalie, this is a great way to do it. You can click on the goalie, it'll highlight pull, and then you can say the goalie is being pulled. Or you can click the change goalie button in the center here, and that goes into it too. So there's just two ways to do it. You can click on the goalie, or you can click the change goalie button. If there's a timeout, you can choose the team that's taking it and the time the timeout was assigned. Okay, so now let's go through the tabs at the top here. So we have a details tab, just the information about the game. Usually you don't need to change anything in here, but like a game number, the type of the game type being exhibition, regular season, playoffs, the time zone, the date and time, the actual start and end time of the game if you want to put that in, facility, the field it was at. A tickets link is if there's tickets being sold to watch this game, so we put in ahead of time. Same thing with a watch live, there'd be a link to watch the game live, so that'd be put in ahead of time. And the game attendance, so if say 5,300 people attended the game to watch it, then you can put the game attendance in. This is the officials, so the officials that worked the game. Now I haven't added any, but if your league has added officials in the stats admin, then they'll show up here, and then you could select the official working the game, and you could put them in, so you could put the different kinds, scorekeeper, referee, all the different officials. If your league collects player stars or records player stars in the game, then you can put in and say who the top 3 stars were of the game. It shows the 2 teams, so you can just pick it like that. There's a notes field, so there's the public game notes. This is the notes. These notes appear on the public website, so everyone can see these notes. And then private game notes don't, so these are just for internal use only. So let's go back to the score tab. Let's just in the Dottie menu here. So you can swap the sides. So there's the home and the away, but if you want to have away and then home, you can swap the sides if you like. You can view the shortcuts available for the different actions. And there's the game sheet link here. So if you want to get to the paper game sheet, you can click that, or you can click it down here, and you can get to the game sheet. And this is a full screen mode, so I'm already in full screen, but if I click this, it would take me out of it. Or if you're not in it, you can click it and go into it, and it just uses a better, maximizes your screen space better. Up here in the top right, you'll see connected with a green dot. So this means that you're connected to the internet, and all of your plays will be saving automatically as your score. Now, if your internet connection drops out for any reason, or you have a poor internet connection, then it'll be orange to let you know that, hey, you're not connected right now, and all of your actions will be orange, but you can continue to score the game like you do have a connection, and then at some point, as soon as your connection comes back, then it'll automatically save all the plays and turn them green. So as long as you don't close your browser tab, any orange plays will be automatically converted to green as soon as you get your connection back. So everything is auto-saving. When the game is done and you want to set the game to final, then you can click on the game status here and change it from in progress to final. Now if you need to do a forfeit, you can select your forfeit in here too, or you can select canceled as well. So I'll change it to final, and it turns green, and that means it's saved. So now this game is final. So it's a 1-0 win for the home team. If you need to make changes to the game events, you could add game events or edit game events after the game's final, and that's okay too. That's it. Thanks for watching.